multitude and was moved with compassion towards them, and he healed their sick. Verse 50. And when it was evening, his disciples came to him, saying, this is a desert place. Are you there? And the time is now past. Send the multitude away, that they may go into the villages and buy some themselves victuals. But Jesus said unto them, they need not depart, give ye them to eat. And they say unto him, we have here but what? 5 loaves and 2 fishes. Verse 19, 18. And he commanded the multitude to sit down on the grass, and took the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, and looking up to heaven, he blessed and brake and gave the loaves to his disciples, and the disciples to the multitude. And what happened? Verse number 20. Let's read that together. He says what? And they did, and what? And they took up of the what? Fragments that remained 12 bags full. That is an overflow. May that be your portion. Lift up your hand and say, Father, give me abundant blessings. Say it again. Say abundant blessings. Let me tell you, in this corona era, any figure that your account has never crossed, by the end of this year, may your account cross that figure. Oh, you are not shouting a loud amen. Somebody, you are sitting under the sound of my voice. Your bank account have never seen 1 billion. Your bank account have never seen 2 billion. By the end of this year, may the supernatural provision of God shock you with a breakthrough. Come on, shout 3 times. I receive it. Again. Again. Abundant. The fragrance. There are 12. But reading from verse number 14, he said, give them something to eat. But he had compassion on them. The disciples said, let them go. And he said, no, give them something to eat. So this message is not limited to women alone. And this food we are talking about this morning is not the ordinary food. Like Jesus told the woman, he said, the water that you give unto me, when I drink, I shall taste again. But the water that I shall give unto you, when thou drinkest thereby, thou shalt never taste again. And out of thee shall flow rivers of living water. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. So ladies and gentlemen, let's not just talk about food and hospitality. Let's talk about food that gives the soul eternity, and food that sustains your spirit. And what is the instrument God gave us? Food. Then he says what? Feed them. Before you feed them, he said, let them sit. Now, when I was preparing this message, it came to me very strongly in my spirit that the church has ignored certain section of our kingdom and our movement, and that is the children. And this is why I pray that Sister Agi, you help us with Pastor Arazak's wives and the team, so that after singing, you should not be here. You should be with them. You should help us. In fact, somewhere, somehow, one of our pastors should be visiting the school every Friday to have at least some devotion with the kids. What are we doing? We are writing eternity in the tablets of the hearts of our children. Let me tell you, these things that we do is going to, because it's a missionary school. By the time a child leaves Paradise Missions Academy, they must know how to pray. And that's the thing I love about the Pentecost church. Pentecost don't joke with their children. Go all over the world and they're breaking through. My personal physician or doctor is a Pentecostal. He attends Pentecost church. Master, the guy is intelligent, and yet he's so humble like water. The foundation. He knows how to talk. Give the children some. Ask yourself, how many of us here have called your children on the family altar? How many of you here, every morning, you say, oh, daddy, children, come. Our altar time has started. It's 4:30. We have started. And you pray with the children. and you gave them the word to eat. And after that, they bath and you prepare them and take them out. How many of us do that? Yet, it's so amazing that pastors can sweat and preach to thousands of people, and yet they can't even preach to their own children. And by the time the pastor is 40 years in ministry or 30 years in ministry, his child is drug addict, and it's happening. You look around us, and some of the professions, like doctors, he can be a very good doctor, a very good professor. He has saved the nation. He has saved so many people. But you go to the house, and the child is doing like this because of yoga. Why? Because whilst you are not feeding the child was watching something on the internet, and whatever the internet tells the child is what becomes the subject of the child. One of my brothers in this church came and told me, he said, "Pastor, save me." I said, "What is that?" He said, "In the morning, I went to my son's room around 4 a.m. and the guy had crossed the leg like that, and he was doing that." He said he stood for a while and looked at the child for about 30 minutes, and the guy had not opened his eyes, and he was still chanting. I said, "Hey, who taught you this?" He said, "The internet." He said, who is the internet? He said, "I have a friend on the internet, and he teaches me these things, and he tells me that any amount of money I want, he will give me." Why are the Muslims giving us gap in the area of spirituality? Why? When I was a Muslim, my grandfather will not get up and pray and go to mosque, and you are sleeping. Everybody, ask my brother Bashiru or Aisha or any of us. I mean, you cannot. So generally, that training my grandfather gave us has helped me so much today that even no matter how tired I am, every single day of my life, by 3-4 a.m., feed them, give them something to eat. There are many here who are children that cannot even, if you like, they can't even mention one quotation. Also, and uncle Anna Yabano, I was say, I'm up independence, I'm the democracy in Kuah. Kabim, Mamin can be Amamona Momim, Intinon, by the time they are 17 or 50 years, we are giving them laptops, we are giving them smartphones, and we are saying that, by so doing, we are helping them to become better and to compete with the competitive world. But you have forgotten that if the foundation